So there on the map is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all 50 United States of America. Some of them are hot, cold, expensive, or cheap, but all of them have at least one truly interesting and maybe life-changing fun fact that you need to know. While we are already in the South, did you know that Alabama is the most religious state in the U.S.? As much as 82% of adults in Alabama say that they believe in God with absolute certainty. However, this is completely different in New Hampshire as the least religious state with only as little as 33% of highly religious adults. Let's visit the West Coast, arriving in Portland in Oregon, a city with the most strict clubs per capita in the world with one strip cut for every 12,000 residents. It easily outranks Miami, New Orleans, and Las Vegas. While the Oregonians were building strip clubs, Texas was building bridges. 53,000 bridges to be precise. It's almost twice the number of any other state. Moving north to Idaho, a state that could seem boring at first sight, but in reality it's even more boring than that. In fact, it's the most boring state of them all. The most interesting thing about Idaho is probably its shape. It almost looks like Montana, bit of a piece of it, but the Montanans don't bite, they drink. In fact, they consume the second most beer per capita in the USA, just behind New Hampshire. This northeastern part of the US is in fact quite different from the rest. Did you know that Massachusetts has the most intelligent people? The average IQ there is 104.3. In contrast, the national average is around 98. On the other hand, Maine has its lobsters with about 4,500 active lobstermen. Yes, these are fishermen specializing only in lobster. They account for nearly 90% of the nation's lobster supply. Remember Maine while enjoying lobster next time hopping. Back to west, Nevada is the dry state in the United States with only around 7 inches of rainfall per year. On average, that is literally nothing, while its neighbor Utah is as well dry as the bone. It has the youngest population of any state in the U.S., with a median age of 30.7 years. What is really old is this city in Florida. St. Augustine in Florida is known as the oldest continuously inhabited city in the United States. It was founded in 1565, and since we are already in the old days, did you know that Delaware was actually the first state, what we today know as the USA? On the contrary, the latest state to join this union was Hawaii in 1959. While we still have a total of 37 states to go, let's speedrun for a while. Wyoming is a square, and this square is the least populated state with a population density of just over 5 people per square mile. Arkansas name is derived from the Native American board Arkansas, which means saw wind, hence its state instrument is the fiddle. Pennsylvania is the highest percentage of Amish population. In total, it's more than 90,000 people. Now this might surprise you, but Alaska is actually the most dangerous state with the highest crime rate. Although 80% of Illinois is farmland, produces more nuclear energy than any other state in the country. Minnesota is known as the land of 10,000 lakes, but in reality, the state actual number of lakes sits close to 12,000, making its shoreline longer than California and Florida combined. Everybody has this fortune cookies associated with Asian countries, but in the reality they were invented in California. Maybe that's the reason why it has the biggest economy by far. Now let's get rid of these microstates in the east. So listen carefully. In fact, Rhode Island is actually the smallest U.S. state. Meanwhile, in Vermont, something called snow golf was invented, which is supposed to be a real sport. Right next door, the first Europeans that colonized New Jersey were actually Dutch, while Sweden tried to claim parts of New Jersey as well. The official state sport of Maryland is just in what? Yes. Maybe these pictures could clarify what this is weird. Maryland, maybe you didn't know that, but Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States, is actually in the middle of Maryland and not in the state of Washington, which is for some reason too. What is actually located in the state of Washington is the world's largest freezer. It's capable of storing 350 million pounds of frozen food. Don't ask me why. Coming back to another nice square, Colorado has the world's largest flat-top mountain. It's called Grand Mesa from Spanish, which means a bake table.